Alright, heathens. So, come in. I have a clingy cat. This video, he's so chunky. This video is a double whammy because it is my second time filming in this like new setup area, and it is my second video of the drugstore favorites. So for those of you who have seen my, he's chunky. For those of you who have seen the first drugstore favorites video, it was more traditional drugstore brands. So a brand you could walk into like Walmart or Kmart or whatever your local grocery store is and more than likely find it. And then this video is what I consider non-traditional drugstore makeup. So either products you buy online or can be found at Ulta, but not a traditional drugstore, but are still within the more affordable drugstore price range. So I apologize ahead of time because I feel like this is going to be a pretty long video comparatively. Not that my last one was very short, but this video has quite a handful of honorable mentions because I wanted to do this in a way where if someone was like, okay, this category, favorite highlighter, go. Whatever first popped in my head. But with highlighters and eyeshadows, there was a lot. So we'll go over that. I have already started by doing my eyebrows off camera, and I have used the ColourPop brow pencil in the shade Arched Auburn. It has a very, very, very fine tip on it. Now, I recommend this tentatively because I really like how it goes on, how it's pigmented without being overly so, but the color that I got is not exactly the right color for me. Like, it matches my hair fine, but I don't know if you'll be able to tell, and I don't know if you're too high up, but it doesn't match my brow hairs exactly. So, you know, but that's my fault. You know, I bought that pencil prior to really trying out different colors, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a redhead, so let's get auburn. My eyebrows aren't red, so that one kind of bit me in the butt. So I'm going to go straight into it. Not going to waste any time today. I'm going to do eyeshadows first. Just like the last one, I'm going to do both eyes, each eye differently. First palette is a ColourPop palette because ColourPop eyeshadows are the best, like, across the board. I can't even think of a high-end eyeshadow that I've tried that I prefer to ColourPop. And my favorite for everyday is the ColourPop Give It To Me Straight palette. This is a very neutral palette. It does not have a mirror inside, and this is the Color Story. So, like I said, very nice, neutral, everyday colors, and it's just incredible. I've had this eyeshadow palette for quite some time, and I use it very regularly. And one thing I'm going to be using throughout this video is not a makeup product, but it's a beauty tool. It is from shopmissa.com. It is one of the AOA Studio products, and it's like a little brush cleaner. I guess it's their version of, what's it called? The Color Switch. It's just got like a sponge type thing in it. You just run your brush across it to quickly clean between colors. That's what I'm going to be using as needed. So I'm going to go in first with this palette, and I'm going to go into the shade Downright right here. And all of these have like super clever names that go with the Give It To Me Straight theme. And I'm going to do this eye with ColourPop. But yeah, I love this palette. I think it's hands down my favorite everyday non-traditional drugstore palette. They are coming out with the monochromatic 9-pan palettes now. And I have quite a few of those. Those are incredible as well. I think my favorite of those right now is actually the Honey palette. It's just great. And it's the yellow one. So next I'm going to go in, this is just going to be a super simple look, by the way. I'm going to go in with Frank. But yeah, the ColourPop, I'm going to have to stop saying, I'm sorry guys. The ColourPop shadows, they're such an amazing formula. They are so easy to work with and blend out. The shimmers are amazing. And I'm going to do 2 different types of shimmers in this look, because you have the shimmers that are in the palette, and then ColourPop, if you've never used ColourPop, also makes Supershocks shadows, and they are incredible. So that's what we're looking like so far, just using the mattes, and like you see how insanely quick that was. So now I'm going to go in with Forthright, and I'm just going to take that on my finger, like, see how crazy that is? And I'm going to tap that right all over the lid, going up into the crease, just using my finger. I have very wrinkly eyelids, so sometimes it takes a little finagling, but that is every shadow that's not these. Alright, so bam, that's actually probably on an everyday basis where I would leave this look. Now, I forgot to get a makeup wipe ready. I swear one day I will be fully prepared. I thought I had everything. I've got a nice little spread out in front of me. The dang makeup wipe. Alright, so, geez. I'm going to clean my finger off. And then close that palette. I'm going to show you 2 of the Supershocks. So I just grabbed 2 that I really like to kind of show you some of the differences. This one is Milky Way. It was part of their like Chasing Rainbows collection. It's a pretty pinky purple. And these have a very interesting like moussey cream formula. But they are just so pigmented and shiny, and these are better used with the fingers. This one is Envy. It's like a purple, blue, black shimmer. It's really pretty. These are better used with the fingertips, but you can use a brush if you kind of get it down pat. So those are the Supershocks. Like I said, also gorgeous. ColourPop just has such a knack for making eyeshadows. ColourPop has a knack for making everything, and as you'll see, I have a bit of a ColourPop obsession, but we'll get to that. So really, for this eye, that's all I would do. This is like an everyday go to work look. It's nothing too dramatic, nothing over the top. Literally takes like not even 5 minutes for both eyes. So the next palette I'm going to use is a BH Cosmetics Baked Eyeshadow Palette. And this is the Galaxy Chic palette. Now you can use these in 2 ways. You can either use your fingers. This is what the inside of the palette looks like. It does have a mirror. My mirror is super dirty. You can use your fingers. I'm going to go into Mars. And then swatch it under the other Supershock. Or you can use a brush. And these are a little less finicky with a brush than, say, the Supershocks. But on the other eye, since this palette, you can do a lot with this palette. It's got more neutral shades, but since the other eye is a little more neutral, I'm going to do something a little more exciting on the other eye. And I'm going to do like a reddish orange look. So I'm going to go in first with Sun, which is like a red and yellow mixed together. I'm just going to swirl my brush on it so it picks up a little bit of everything. Oh, I'm completely covering up the camera. And then I'm just going to take that through the crease, and as you can see, these shadows are naturally a little more shimmery. I wouldn't consider any of these like a matte shade. I'm going to go in to Aphrodite over here, which is a more maroon red. Same brush. I'm not even taking the color off because I'm going to build on that same area. Goodness. Okay. So we're going to go in just on that same area right through the crease and build that up. And I'm not taking this one quite as high as I took the other one. But see how easily that goes on? And it's almost creating a similar tone to the other one, and I didn't think of that. So I'm going to go in now with Jupiter, which is the more red one, and then after that I'm going to take Venus on my finger. Again, same brush, going into Jupiter, and a little lower just to brighten it ever so slightly because it is a brighter red shade. Here I am talking about I'm going to do something exciting and it looks almost just like the other side. What's wrong with me? Apparently I have a theme going on. So now I'm going to go in with Venus, which is that gorgeous, gorgeous orange. And I'm going to pop that onto my lid. And apparently a bit under. Just a little bit more. Then I'm going to take that, oh, where did it go? There it is. Nope, there it's not. Grab the wrong one. I'm going to take, geez Louise. I'm going to take that brush I was using earlier and just blend those two colors together. And I'm done with that eye. Like, how much easier can it get? Hold on. Okay, it started to get a little dark outside, so I cut the light up a little bit. So I hope this is a little better. That is what both of the eyes look like right now. And I'm going to go in to the complexion. So, the primer is an AOA Studio Wonder Skin mattifying primer. I love this primer, and this time of year maybe it's not the best choice because I do have oily skin, but of course in the winter it's not quite as bad, and right through here I tend to be very, very dry, and of course that gets worse throughout the fall and winter because the weather is changing. It's getting cooler, especially at night, even here. Now, of course, for someone who lives more north, our lows are probably nothing comparatively, but there are nights where it drops to about freezing, and, you know, for South Carolina, that's really cold. I mean, it's freezing, obviously. So, it is cold. But, you know, I know there are places where it gets like 8 degrees. So I'm not saying that our weather is the coldest, just that it's cold. So now let me get my brush for foundation, which is actually a BH Cosmetics brush. So, for foundation, I kind of have two. Both of them are from ColourPop. I'm going to use this one simply because the other one is a stick foundation, and I feel like I tend to use it more on days where I'm feeling oilier, whereas this one, which is still a mattifying foundation, I don't know how to explain this. It goes on a little better because it is a liquid when I'm drier. So, see, it's a little runny. So I'm just going to take that, put it all over my face. This may not be my best shade match. I did buy it online, so it does look a little light. You know, all blended out and everything on. It's not the worst of the worst. But it's probably, there's probably a better shade for me out there. So I'm just going to put this everywhere real quick. ColourPop does have a pretty decent shade range, in my opinion, for these. And I do have a different shade in the stick foundation. I don't know if the shades are different or if that was an accident on my part, like I didn't realize that I was buying a different shade, or if the shade names are just different from formula to formula. Because I know some brands do that. Like, okay, so for example, CoverGirl. The True Blend Matte Made Foundation that I really like, I am the shade L10. And their other foundations do not have an L10 that I see. So it could just be that different formulas have different shades, and so maybe there wasn't a shade like this one, which is probably a good thing. But so that is the foundation on. I'm going to get the rest of that foundation off the back of my hand. Whew. I feel like I've been talking so much that I'm kind of out of breath. Alright, now, to set the face, which I think my powder brush is also back here. Yep. Alright, but to set the face, if I'm going non-traditional drugstore, I use the AOA Studio Perfect Finishing Pressed Powder, and this is the translucent one. So it looks white, and on the skin, if you apply a whole lot in one spot, it is white, but then you can kind of pat it out, blend it out, and everything's fine. So I'm just going to put that over the areas where I will be applying other products, which is to say, namely highlighter. Now, another thing, for those of you who may not know me very well, or if you're new, hi, hello, my name is Sunny. I am a highlighter fiend, okay? I am obsessed with highlighter, and that is why one of the highlighter products that I'm using today, I will be using, because it's the highlighter that actually really got me into highlighters. So, if that tells you anything, like, it's the reason I'm a highlighter fiend. So it has a special place in my heart. And it's a great highlighter. It's not just like, you know, if you're thinking back to the first time you used eyeliner and then like how does it compare to the eyeliners you use now type thing. It's not like that. This highlighter is still amazing. But it's what really got me into it and wanting to play with other products. So let me do real quick my honorable mentions that I'm not going to use because I don't use them often. So one is the BH Cosmetics Satin Bronzer in the shade Tranquil Tan. I actually got this off of Glam, but I do not use, I'm going to put it under that other baked eyeshadow. It's down here. I do not use bronzer regularly. So while it is a very nice formula, and you know, if you're looking for an affordable bronzer, that is the one I would recommend. I'm not going to use it today because I don't use it often. And for blush, would be a ColourPop Super Shock Cheek, which has to be used in moderation. This is in the shade Drive Me Crazy. I don't know if they even still have this one, to be honest. It's a very similar formula to the Super Shock eyeshadow and Super Shock highlighters. It's got that moussey, creamy formula. I'm going to put it down the side where it obviously has a bunch of shine. But again, I don't really wear blush. So the formula is great if you like cream blushes. I don't really have a powder one to recommend except for one from also AOA Studio, which is shopmessa.com. But for the life of me, I could not find it. I believe it is in the shade Delicate. It's a very soft pink. But again, not something I use daily. So, without further ado, let's get into what I consider to be the stars of the show. So, one side, I'm going to do my, we'll call it like my OG highlighter. And it is the AOA Studio Halo Highlighter in the shade Amour. This is the highlighter that got me into highlighters, guys. I hope it picks up well on camera. Oh gosh, I'm running out of space. This is awkward. It is so beautiful, so blinding. I dropped my wipe. I would recommend this to anyone who likes pink, icy highlighters. I'm going to make sure I have everything off of this brush because I really don't want to taint this highlighter in any way. So I'm going to tap in, and like I said, this is the highlighter that got me into highlighters. So nothing. And then, bam, highlighted. God, I hope that picks up. If not, I will try to get a clip of, I'm going to try to adjust the light a little bit. I don't know if I need more or less, but if not, I will try to get a clip of it because it is just, now it might be a little much for some people, and you can definitely like see where it sits. It doesn't necessarily look as natural as some other colors would, but I love it. It's amazing. I don't have enough good things to say about it. I'm going to clean this and go into my next one, which, well, I'll do this other one on the face, which is going to look a little crazy, but we're going to do it anyway. So, this is a Super Shock highlighter from ColourPop, but it is one of the Disney Villains collection. This is the Maleficent one, and it is called Mistress of All Evil. And it is a goldy champagne, glittery, shiny greatness. I'm going to take it on my ring finger. And what I do if I use these is just gently tap it along. And I don't know how well it's going to pick up, but there is a lot more glitter in this formula than there is in this one. So, you know, keep that in mind. Depending on how much you like glitter in your highlighters. This is not the most over-the-top glitter one, and I'll show you in a second. But I do love these formulas. They last really well. Now, I have a few, like I said, honorable mentions because they all came to my mind. One is the Makeup Revolution highlighters. One in particular is the Strobe highlighters. And I picked this one because I feel like out of all the ones I own, this one, which is Lunar, is going to be the most friendly to people with a lighter complexion like I have. So I'm going to put it up under this other one. They're very, very, very similar in tone. I don't know. It's one thing I haven't learned about this setup yet is the best way to show off these highlighters. The other ones that I have are like a green or blue reflect. So I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. So I kind of left them out. Let me grab one of these real quick. These are also an amazing formula. The Heart highlighters. They're baked highlighters from Makeup Revolution. I didn't intend on putting these in here, but since we're here, this one is called Snowflake Heart, and I have one in the bathroom that I use for work pretty regularly. I'll do this one across the top of my wrist, see if that works better down there. If the light drowns all these out, I'm going to be really upset. It's a learning process, though. You know, new lighting, new setup. It's learning. Well, it's technically not new lighting. It's just angled differently in a way that I thought might be a little better. Alright, so last highlighter of the bunch is another ColourPop Super Shock. This is Over the Moon. This is one that is much, much more glitter based. It's pretty much just white and purple glitter pieces. I'm gonna do it down the side of my thumb, and I hope that it picks up. But it is like it's glitter. I love it. I'm gonna put it down my nose, but it's glitter. Okay, so I cut the light down a little bit. Spoiler, my lips are on. I'm gonna try to get the highlighter a little better like this. This is the AOA Studio one, and then the ColourPop one, the ones on my wrist, and then the one at the back of my hand. Let's get on to lashes before I talk too much about glitter and highlighters and make this video forever long. The ColourPop BFF Volumizing Mascara is my favorite non-traditional drugstore mascara. It has a wand very similar to the Too Faced Better Than Sex. So, no mascara. And then we're going to go in and blink our way into it, because that's just personally how I tend to do my mascaras. And you know, everyone's different, everyone's eyelashes are different, whatever works for you. Like, see how nice that is? Whew. Talking in mascara isn't working. I don't like not talking, because then it just feels quiet and empty. But I think it looks so good. And it's not one that I usually have to go back into the tube for multiple times. It is a drier formula, so for those of you who like a wet formula, you may not like this. But I find, and maybe it's because I'm clumsy and messy, that the drier formulas are less likely to get all over my eyeshadow. There are a few wetter formulas that I enjoy, but this is my favorite by far that I've tried, non-traditional drugstore mascara. Now, lipstick. So, Shop Miss A has a formula in their AOA Studio line called the Wonder Matte Liquid Lip, and they're incredible. But again, for the life of me, could not find one. The ColourPop Matte Liquid Lipstick is probably my favorite. The only reason I'm not using it in this video is because it is a more drying formula. And I know there are a lot of people that don't prefer them. So instead I'm going to be using a ColourPop Liquid Luxe, excuse me, not liquid, a Luxe lipstick, and this is a cream one in the shade Scorpio Moon. And it's just a very like nice everyday type color for me. This one is a cream. They do have a matte formula, but of course these are a lot less drying. They're not as long lasting. But since I know, sorry, I'm checking out my highlighter. Since I know that the, come on, Bubba. Since I know that the matte formulas are not everyone's cup of tea, I decided to do something a little more universal, so to speak, because I think that these can work for everyone, and they have so many different color options, including some unique ones like blue and black and stuff like that. We done, Kappa? Why are you sniffing the blush? That's weird. I think we're done. So that is my full face of non-traditional drugstore favorites. I know it was a lot, and I know I couldn't narrow some of it down, and I'm really sorry, but I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all found it helpful. And for those of you who prefer to do your online shopping, these are definitely brands that I trust, that I keep going back to. Obviously, there were a bunch of brands that kept popping up. This is what it all looks like said and done. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to see more of my content. And let me know if there are any other non-traditional drugstore brands that I didn't mention that I should try. I'm sure that there are some that I'm forgetting about, but going through my collection and, like I said, like thinking about it just off the top of my head, these were the products that came to mind. So let me know, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!